forward to this.
What's up everyone, how's it going? So it is confirmed that we are set to get a new roadmap sometime soon for Star Wars Battlefront 2, but we don't know how much content is going to be in that roadmap or even how many months into the year the roadmap will actually go. So in this video, I'm just going to kind of go over my hopes for a roadmap and what I hope to see on it, and I'm just going to go ahead and extend it throughout the entire year because that's what Battlefield did. They actually just released the Battlefield 5 roadmap just a few days ago. I think it was over the weekend, and it did go through the whole rest of 2019, so that's what I'm hoping Battlefront 2 goes into, but at this moment we have no idea, so that's just what I'm hoping for. So let's get started with the first thing I wanted to talk about, and that is actually from a comment that Ben Walk, who is the community manager for Star Wars Battlefront 2, made over on the Star Wars Battlefront Discord yesterday, and he says, "People will be happy when we are nothing but Alderaan." He's basically talking about the backlash that they got for the new game mode's community transmission because a lot of people were unhappy with it, but then he goes on to say, "We've proven people wrong before and we shall do it again." And I actually screenshotted that message for this video, but I did not screenshot another thing he said over on the Discord. I think he said it before he made that response, and he was basically talking about how he is very hopeful for the future of this game. But yeah, like I said, I did not screenshot that message, but you're just gonna have to take my word for it, I guess. But basically, I do think Battlefront 2 has a really good future. I mean, we've already gotten so much good content with the Clone Wars heroes, and I think there's a lot more to come. So let's talk about my hopes for this roadmap, and at first, let's talk about the two heroes that I want the most for this game, and that is probably the most popular ones within the community, and those are of course Ahsoka, Tano, and Ventress. Now there has been a lot of hints and clues to them potentially coming for this game. The first thing is the devs had just simply told us that they know that we do want Ahsoka Tano. Now of course that's not confirming that she's coming or anything, but that's just showing that they do know that we want her, so that raises the chances of her being added just a little bit more. And as well as the main evidence, and that being when General Grievous was released, if you went into the voice line files, you could actually find a voice line of General Grievous talking to Ahsoka Tano. That again does not confirm that she is coming, but that does confirm that they have thought or actually talked about adding her to the game at some point. It's just whether they actually go through with that plan or not. So I guess only time will tell. And then of course I believe that if she does get added, she will more than likely be paired up with Ventress, just because they're both Clone Wars heroes, and then they both have a similar fighting style with the dual wielding lightsabers, which would be really cool to see in this game, as well as I think they could do some unique things with their abilities. So yeah, those are my main two heroes that I'm hoping to see on this roadmap, just because I wanted them for so long. But then I do believe we will get at least two more heroes after those if they do come, and I believe those would be blaster heroes. Now who they would be, I have no idea, but just like the Ahsoka Tano voice line, there is another voice line of General Grievous speaking to Padme Amidala. Again, this does not confirm anything, but it doesn't mean they have talked about adding her, so I do believe she has a good chance of getting added to this game. Now who she will get paired with, I have no idea. A lot of people say Jango Fett, but I wouldn't be too happy with that, simply because it would be another jetpack hero unless they change him in some different way. And while he's one of the coolest characters in Star Wars in my opinion, I just think having another jetpack hero would get kind of old quick, especially in heroes versus villains, because anytime Boba Fett is the target, most of the time the player who's playing as Boba Fett just flies away from everyone so he cannot get killed, and I do believe the same thing would happen if Jango Fett is added. Though the developers have been testing out new changes for heroes versus villains, which would taking out the whole target system so that it's basically just hero blast or hero team deathmatch, which is something that I would really like. And then if they do that, then I would be completely fine with them adding in another jetpack hero, that being Jango Fett, because like I said, he is one of the coolest Star Wars characters in my opinion. But yeah, those are just four heroes that I am hoping to see on the roadmap at least, and those being Ahsoka, Asajj Ventress, and then Padme, and then another blaster hero to pair up. I would be completely happy with getting those four, and maybe some other ones depending on how they go, if maybe they're going to add reinforcements or something, which is what's next on my list. And those are two new reinforcements. I know we are getting the ARC Troopers and the Droid Commandos on Tuesday, which is just 2 days away as of today, and I'm super excited for those two. But I would really love to see the Republic Commandos as well as the Droidekas come to this game at some point, though I highly doubt that is going to happen. Now there's a more likely chance of the Republic Commandos coming, but the Droidekas, the developers have already stated that they were working on them at some point, and it is just too hard to get them to work with the whole rolling technique. And then they said there was trouble getting them to roll up the terrain, and then there was just a whole bunch of problems. And so basically that's why I believe they're kind of hinting at there will not be Droidekas in this game, unfortunately. Maybe if we get a Battlefront 3, but that is unlikely at this point. So I am hoping for Republic Commandos, and then whoever they decide to pair them up with. I'm not sure on a droid reinforcement, There's a few, there's like the Aqua V2 battle droids, but other than that, I'm not too sure, though I'd be completely okay with them just adding in the Republic Commandos completely standalone, because I don't think it would make it too unbalanced if they don't pair them with anyone. I think it would be okay, but who knows, it depends on how powerful they make them, if they do decide to release them. So yeah, just some reinforcements would be really cool to see on this roadmap. And now let's talk about the main thing, and that is going to be the maps for this game. Now, it is true that maps do take the longest to make any video game, just because of how much resources it requires to create and how big it is and everything. So I highly doubt we're going to get many maps, if any at all. I am keeping my expectations somewhat low, even though Battlefield is getting 2 maps this year, I believe. I'm not sure about that. I knew they're getting a couple maps at least, but for Battlefront, it just takes so long to create them. I mean, look how long it took them to create Geonosis, but I am hoping that we will get some new maps, and what will those be? I have no idea, again, if we're going to even be getting any, but if we are going to get 1 or 2, I would love to see Utapau as well as Mustafar come for this game. I think those would be really great maps, and I think both of them would work pretty decently for the new Capital Supremacy mode, where you could have command posts everywhere, and then once you capture them, you go up to the Venators. I think it would be perfect for Utapau just because of how open that outside landscape is. But then for Mustafar, I'd be okay with them not having the Venator section of the Capital Supremacy mode, and instead just have you capture command posts, because that's what everyone is looking forward to the most anyways. So I don't know if they were going to be able to change the mode a little bit throughout each map. So like some maps like Geonosis or even Kashyyyk, they're going to have the Venator section where once you capture the command post, you go up to that Venator to try and destroy it. Or, and then other smaller maps like maybe Tatooine, or like I said, if they add Mustafar, they just have it the first part where you just capture the command post, and whoever captures all the command posts first wins the match. But yeah, I think maps are super important to getting people excited to come back and play the game again, because as cool as heroes are, as cool as maybe new weapons, which is next up on my list, maps are one of the main focuses in a video game. But unfortunately, like I said earlier, they do take the most amount of work. But something they could do is something they have actually done before for this game, and that is adding in Battlefront 2015 maps. I know a lot of people have been talking about that. The developers said that it does still take a lot of resources to do, but not as much as creating a whole new map. So I think it'd be pretty cool to see them do that in the meantime. And some of my favorite maps from Battlefront 2015 was the Jakku in that game, and then as well as the Bespin map. The Bespin was the coolest and probably one of the best looking maps in the game, other than Scarif, which is something I really want. I think a Rogue One type season would be a really nice addition to this game. It's something that most people are talking about adding. Something that they really want is the Rogue One, and having Scarif, and then maybe Jen Erso can come back, and then Director Krennic, or maybe they can change it up and then add new heroes from that movie. I don't know who they would do, maybe Cassian or K2SO, some of those guys. But yeah, a Rogue One season for this game would be really cool. And I think it would just be great to have that Scarif map back. And then they could even bring back the space part of Scarif from that game mode, where if you ever played it, basically, you start off in space and then you have to destroy that shield gate. It's been a while since I've played it, so I can't remember too much on how it worked, but basically you just destroy that shield gate and then you go through it and then you fight the land battle, which it was pretty fun. It was linear, but that's okay because it was still just a really fun map to play on, and it looked great, so I think adding it in this game would be awesome. And if you play the campaign for Battlefront 2, you will know that at the very end of the game, you do go on Scarif as Kylo Ren, I believe it is. You go on Scarif and there's shore troopers and everyone, so there's already assets in the game that they could use if they wanted to bring back Scarif. But yeah, that's just another thing that I want on my list. And then something else is something that a lot of people have been talking about once again, and that is new skins for like the original trilogy characters, those being for the Stormtroopers. Luke Skywalker only has 2 skins, I believe, and there's just so many more that he could have. And then Darth Maul skins, even some more Anakin skins like his General Skywalker skin or a hooded Anakin. I mean, there's just so many that I could list off. I mean, I made a whole video on skins, and so have many other people, and I could just go on forever for the amount of skins. But some of the skins that I really want for the Stormtroopers would be the Shadow Troopers, and then even the Coruscant or the Shock Troopers, and then my favorite from Battlefront 2015, and those being the Shore Troopers, which are actually already in the game, so I don't see why they don't add them right now, unless they are saving that addition for a Rogue One type season. So let's talk about my final thing on this list, and that is something that I'm surprised that we have not gotten yet, and that is new weapons for this game, because as cool as heroes are, as cool as new reinforcements are, getting new weapons is so important to a shooting game, especially Star Wars Battlefront 2, since at the moment we only have 4 weapons on each class. It just gets so repetitive over time, and a lot of the weapons in each class just kind of feel the same. So I think new weapons is a must if they want to keep the player base alive and going, because you play as a trooper most of the time throughout each match, unless you're like a super good player like Anarchy Ninja, who's able to get a hero within 5 or 6 minutes of the match and then keep that hero for the rest of the match. So I think most of the players do play as a simple infantry, and there's so many weapons already in the game files that are actually workable. There was a mod a while back that if you installed the mod, it allowed you to play as these weapons in arcade mode. If you play with them online, you would immediately get banned. But yeah, they could just take those weapons and then implement them into multiplayer, and then have some attachments for them to unlock, as well as something that they did in Battlefront 2015. They actually added in the hero weapons for the infantry, so you could get Krennic's revolver type pistol, I don't remember what it's called, and then Bosk's sniper you could have, and then I believe Jyn Erso's you could also use, which had the replaceable attachment parts, which was a pretty neat feature. So I think if they just add a whole bunch of new weapons 1 month, it would just add so much variety to the gameplay, and then not make things feel as repetitive, because at the moment when I play, I immediately try to go for the heroes just because I get kind of bored playing as infantry so much, just because, like I said, it's just so repetitive. So I think new weapons are a must, and a lot of people do agree with me. Whenever Benoit did state that weapons are not a priority at the moment, he got downvoted quite a lot. So I hope DICE does know now that we do want weapons, because we weren't really talking about them before, to be fair. A lot of us were just kind of hoping that weapons would come and just thought they would naturally, and so all we were talking about is new heroes and maps. So after Ben made that comment, a lot of people just spam the subreddit with reasons why we need new weapons. So let's hope DICE is listening on that part, but that is pretty much going to do it for my wish list for this roadmap. I know it's kind of big, and like I said, we have no idea on how many months into the year it's going to go, but we'll just have to wait and find out. But yeah, that is my hopes for the rest of the year. Let me know your thoughts down below on my roadmap, and then tell me what things you guys want for this game. I'm really curious to see. Tell me what heroes you want, or what features you want, or new reinforcements, or maps, or whatever it is, because I really want to know what you guys are hoping for this roadmap. But yeah, that is pretty much all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. If you are new, be sure and subscribe for more Star Wars news, gameplay, and more, and I'll hopefully see you all in the next one.